For the first time in more than 54 years, the custody of the Holy Land celebrated the baptism of Jesus in the Franciscan Church of St. John the Baptist, near the western bank of the Jordan River. First visit as Patriarch for His Beatitude Monsignor Pierbattista Pizzaballa in Jordan, on the occasion of the Feast of the Baptism of Jesus. The Israeli National Tourist Office, in collaboration with the custody, organized an online meeting to promote the treasures of the Holy Land in anticipation of the pilgrims' return. Thanks to Caritas Jerusalem and the Polish Ministry of Foreign Affairs, 4 more respirators for coronavirus patients have arrived in Bethlehem. A special feature on Caritas Baby Hospital in Bethlehem, the only pediatric hospital in the entire West Bank, an oasis of peace in Palestine. For the first time in more than 54 years, on Sunday, January the 10th, the custody of the Holy Land celebrated the baptism of Jesus in the Franciscan Church of St. John the Baptist, located on the west bank of the River Jordan in the area of Qasr al-Yahud. In the 1967 war between Israel on the one hand and Jordan, Syria and Egypt on the other, the site had been closed and had since become a minefield.
Despite
the total absence of pilgrims, what we feel today is a feeling of great joy and also of satisfaction, because you can see that when you are patient, persistent and believe in your dreams, they come true. We are very happy because in a very Franciscan way, that is, without expecting the site to be perfectly restored, we had the joy of being the first to be able to celebrate the Eucharist on our site.
Perfettamente ristrutturato, abbiamo avuto la gioia di essere I primi a poter celebrare l'Eucarestia nel nostro sito.
In his homily, Brother Francesco Patton invited us to contemplate the baptism of Jesus and to bring the strength of the vocation and mission assigned to us by the Father to become witnesses of that gratuitous love which saves and redeems, reconciles and brings peace. The custos then recall the last 2 priests who celebrated Mass here for the last time in 1967, and then thanked the civil authorities for their efforts to bring this peace back to life.
Il Presidente Rivlin ha condiviso questa idea molte volte con Papa Francesco.
President Rivlin has shared this idea many times with Pope Francis, and with us he has always explicitly talked about the idea of valuing and preserving this site. Valuing it because it is a significant place for millions and millions of pilgrims, and preserving it, that is, making sure that it becomes not a commercial place, but instead remains that land of monasteries, as it is called, and that is a holy place, a place of spirituality and prayer.
Un luogo santo, un luogo di spiritualità, un luogo di preghiera.
That people can come and go to the yards of the churches and even come to the water is clean from mind. We have a very big program. That cleaning the mind is only the first step of this program. The next step will be to decorate the roads and the lines around here. We have a lot of work that need to be done. And hopefully till the end of 2021 we will be in a very different site. I'm talking about putting here more than 15 million shekels that already exist.
The custos of the Holy Land then reopened the Holy Mass register to connect the past with the present, having turned the page from a history of war and mines to a history of peace.
Più volte in questi ultimi tempi, e l'ho ricordato anche nell'omelia, che
what was a field of war, because this was a minefield, is now a field of peace and prayer, a beautiful sign of hope.
Mi pare che sia un bel segno di speranza.
First visit as Patriarch for His Beatitude Pierbattista Pizzaballa in Jordan. The occasion was the feast of the baptism of Jesus, which according to tradition was celebrated in the church that commemorates it not far from the banks of the River Jordan near the place where Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist. Even if my title has changed, joked Monsignor Pizzaballa meeting the journalists, it is not the first time I come here. The Patriarch's was a real pilgrimage, together with the other Catholic churches present in the country, one of the 4 that are part of the Latin Patriarchate of Jerusalem. His visit also included a stop at the church dedicated to Mary in the city of Zweife and in Amman for the exchange of greetings with the local church. During the pontifical mass at the site of the baptism, concelebrated by Archbishop William Shomali, Patriarchal Vicar of Jordan, and Archbishop Mauro Lalli, Chargé d'Affaires of the Apostolic Nunciature in Amman, the water taken shortly before from the Jordan River was blessed and used to sprinkle those present. This year, explained Father Rifat Bader, director of the Catholic Center for Studies and Media, we celebrate the 21st anniversary of the beginning of modern Christian pilgrimages to this place.
Religious tourism in general, in 2020 was not normal. Was not normal is a diplomatic way to say was a catastrophe because of the pandemic. We plead with God to have this year as a year of healing, a year of openness, a year of new start, and a year of return to normal life, especially in Jerusalem, Palestine, and Jordan, where tourism has a major role in bolstering the economy. Hopefully, next year, the church where we are going to celebrate the Mass will be completely built so that we can organize several celebrations in the presence of pilgrims and tourists in the years to come.
At the end of the visit, the good wishes of the King of Jordan to the new Patriarch also arrived. In an online meeting, His Majesty Abdullah II Ben al-Hussein recalled the important role of the Latin Patriarchate and the other churches present in Jerusalem, as well as the deep-rooted relationship between Jordan and the Pope in supporting peace and rejecting violence. Ten months after the start of the pandemic, the Holy Land still cannot welcome tourists and pilgrims, but the desire to return and visit it freely remains. Holy places, nature and culture. To keep the attention high on its treasures, the Israeli National Tourist Office, in collaboration with the Custody of the Holy Land, organized an online meeting entitled The Holy Land in Our Hearts.
Questa terra piccola ci sono tante esperienze.
In this small land, there are so many experiences, so many emotions, so many beautiful places to discover. In this period, we are working to welcome, as soon as possible, pilgrims and tourists from all over the world in complete safety.
During the long months of closure, the celebrations in the sanctuaries continued regularly. In Nazareth, for example, the numerous prayers and liturgies planned in the basilica built on the site where Mary received the announcement of Jesus' birth continued. It is the largest basilica in the Middle East. We pray the Angelus every day inside the house of Mary, Verbum caro hic factum est, or here the Word became flesh. It is the incarnation of the Word in the womb of the Virgin Mary. Neither have projects and ideas stopped to allow pilgrims, but also the local population of all creeds, to better understand the history of the places and the great archaeological and artistic heritage preserved over the centuries by the Custody of the Holy Land, in particular thanks to the Terra Sancta Museum.
A Gerusalemme c'è il Museo di Israele, il Museo di Arte Islamica e anche...
In Jerusalem there is the Museum of Israel, the Museum of Islamic Art, and therefore it is normal that there is also a Museum of the Christian Presence, which is the third component of the place. It is a single museum but developed in 3 different locations. Today this museum is partly open and partly under construction.
E in parte in costruzione.
In questo strano anno segnato dalla pandemia, so che
in this strange year marked by the pandemic, I know that with your hearts you are here, and that for Christmas you would like to be here as pilgrims. Keep alive in your hearts the desire to return to the Holy Land, to return to visit the holy places as pilgrims, and also to return to visit us and support us. We look forward to seeing you as soon as possible, and in the meantime, Merry Christmas to you and your families.
Buon Natale a voi e alle vostre famiglie.
In cooperation with Caritas Jerusalem, the Polish Ministry of Foreign Affairs provided the Palestinian National Rehabilitation Center in Bethlehem with 4 respirators intended for coronavirus patients. The equipment we received is some of the most modern devices in the world and will help the patients greatly. We thank Caritas Jerusalem, an organization known for its assistance and which has always supported the Palestinian people. We thank them because in this way we can improve in terms of quality the treatment of patients affected by this virus. The Polish ambassador to Palestine, Remziad expressed his satisfaction with the delivery of humanitarian aid to the city of Bethlehem, including the distribution of personal protective equipment to various institutions.
As we know, the people of Palestine are suffering a lot and they don't have the equipment and the facilities that other countries have. So this is why we, in collaboration with Caritas Poland.
It was the governor of Bethle-hem province, Kamel Hamid, who welcomed this gift. This is a generous and important donation at a time when we are in desperate need of respirators in Bethlehem due to the increase in those infected and the resulting increase in patients needing treatment. Governor Hamid then wanted to thank Poland for the support given through the donation of medical supplies for Bethlehem, especially during the Christmas period. This reassures us. It's a sign of confidence and a wonderful gift, especially at this time, for our people in Bethlehem, so they can receive proper care. And this also helps to calm the patients because the psychological factor is very important in the fight against the coronavirus. Of course, it also helps us not to have to move patients to other provinces, a great inconvenience for many families and for the patients themselves. Thank you for this generous donation.
Caritas means love, so our service is a service of love from the people of Poland, from my own country, Ireland, to the people of Palestine.
It is described as an oasis of peace. Caritas Baby Hospital is the only children's hospital in the entire West Bank. Every year, 50,000 children receive care and love in this 74-bed health facility. Through the words of Sister Lucia Corradin of the Order of the Elizabethan Franciscan Sis-ters, we will get to know this beautiful mission.
The hospital was built thanks to a Swiss religious, a certain Ernest Schindrick, a priest from the canton of Valais, who had come here on pilgrimage with a group of friends. While he was walking from Jerusalem to the Grotto of the Nativity on Christmas Day 1952, he met a father from a refugee camp, the one in Aida, at the moment when this father of a family was burying his son who had just died of cold and malnutrition. This religious man feels so moved by this encounter that he wonders why this happened while he was on his way to the grotto to attend midnight mass that year, and he was so shocked and moved that he felt called by God to do something for the Palestinian children. And while he was in Bethlehem, he met a Swiss collaborator, Mrs. Wittig, who had been here for a few years and who had created a polyclinic just for newborns. When this religious man returned to Switzerland, he spread this news in all the Swiss dioceses, and since he was also a member of Caritas Germany, he managed to involve the various German dioceses. These dioceses decided to pool their forces and founded the so-called Bethlehem Children's Aid Association based in Lucerne, and it is this association that still runs the health facility today.
Diciamo che il fondatore stesso,
the founder himself, Father Ernest Schneidrich, wanted that within the work there was a religious congregation, a religious community, which would be the guarantor of the core values, especially respect for the dignity of every creature.
Verso ogni creatura.
It was May 1975 that the first Elizabethan Franciscan Sisters arrived by ship in the Holy Land to devote themselves body and soul to the construction of the hospital, which was inaugurated in April 1978. In 2009, Pope Benedict XVI, on his pilgrimage to the Holy Land, stopped by the Caritas Baby Hospital for an emotional and grace-filled encounter. In the face of the pandemic that has affected the entire world, Caritas Baby Hospital in Bethlehem has responded to the request of the Palestinian Ministry of Health to make available diagnostic tests for the coronavirus, using all available energies in order to obtain accurate results in the shortest possible time.
A
great example, an oasis of peace, interreligious coexistence is present. It is visible in the sense that the majority of the children and families who knock on the door of the Caritas Baby Hospital are also Muslims. Our motto is, "We are here for the children and for the mothers," and it is close to our hearts to highlight the importance of safeguarding the respect and dignity for every creature, beyond religious belief and social status.
At the beginning of 2021, Sister Lucia and her sisters will leave Caritas Baby Hospital. They will return to Italy to meet the needs of the congregation. Another religious community will take their place.
Tutto quello che facciamo a questi bambini,
everything we do for these children, we can say we have done to Jesus. This makes our way of serving truly praiseworthy, almost regal, precisely because we care for every creature who has the right to be not only welcomed, loved and blessed, but actually cared for in all its holistic context. Put together, Bethlehem and the Children's Hospital, there is no stronger and more visible interweaving of God's goodness, of God's tenderness.
Ecco, della bontà di Dio, della tenerezza di Dio.
In the presence of a limited number of staff members and friends of Caritas Baby Hospital, His Excellency Monsignor Giacinto Bolos Marcuzzo presided over the solemn Eucharist on Wednesday, December the 23rd. It was an occasion both to celebrate Christmas and to greet the Franciscan Elizabethan Sisters at the end of their mission at the hospital and in the Holy Land. On January the 3rd, a Mass of Thanksgiving was presided over by His Beatitude Archbishop Pierbattista Pizzaballa, Patriarch of the Latins of Jerusalem in St. Catherine's Church, next to the Basilica of the Nativity in Bethlehem. At the end of the celebration, the Patriarch addressed words of appreciation and thanks to the Elizabethan Sisters, who have been close to the people of Bethlehem for many years.
From today, news of the Holy Land at your fingertips. Download the new Christian Media Center app to find the latest news. Available for Android and iOS. Follow us on our social platforms. Carry the Holy Land in your pocket.